Goodyear brother number 17. We've got Micah Swim in the house.
Howdy.
He's our special guest of the day.
Oh boy.
Micah, say what's up to him.
Howdy.
Introduce yourself.
I am Micah Swim, and I am a high school teacher at the Essex County High School. And formerly, I played with Gabe and Jake back in the day, playing football. Played with them for 2 years. I'm a little bit older than them. And yeah, that was fun times back then.
Back when we were called the Walruses.
Ooh, I wasn't even going to mention that, but
Yeah. Some tough times.
Hard times.
Yeah.
We were talking about on the track bus the other day about how fun camp was, or Micah was talking about how fun camp
oh
was.
boy,
I'm like, no,
I had
hated every minute of it.
I had a little different experience. I went to 2 camps. Y'all went to 1.
That would have been really fun as seniors.
It would have been, or even juniors, even sophomores. It's just when we went as freshmen. Yeah, it was bad.
It was not fun. Well, that was better than the first one I went to. The one at Moorhead, and I've told him this, it was on the same bus trip. The one at Moorhead was awful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've ever been to, like, remember Moorhead's campus.
Yes.
And when you go up to the top of the common dorms, there's 18 flights of dorms. We stayed in 17 and 18. And we had 3 days. So we'd do offense, we'd run Eagle Lake, which Eagle Lake sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the way Eagle Lake is, you run up, flats off for a little bit, run up, flats off a little bit. Then you see Lynn West sitting there fishing off the top of it and catching nothing at butt crack of dawn. Then you come down, you walk like 2 miles to go eat, come back 2 miles, offense practice in the morning, eat after that, rest around for a little bit. Special teams in the middle of the day, which sucked because it was like August, hotter than cahoonies, and you just run. So like if you weren't on special teams, you're just running across the field.
Mm-hmm.
That was awful. And then you'd eat, walk 2 miles, go eat, and then defense practice at the end of the day. And you did that for about 8 days. It was awful. Like it got to the point where like some kids would just sleep in the lobby of the dorm room. They would not even go upstairs. Like I remember,
Crazy.
y'all remember Lucas Puckett?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He camped out in that lobby many a times. It was not fun. I will say that.
What grade was that?
I was a freshman.
Freshman.
Oh.
It was rough. Like my dad, like it was like the first time like my dad's not coaching me, and so he was like, I'm gonna put his phone on. He thought I ran away. He legit thought I ran away because the dorm or the lunchroom was so far away from where we're at. He called me. He's like, hey, where you at? I'm like, eating. Why are you at Long John's? I'm like, no, I'm in the cafeteria with everybody else. He goes, are you sure? Are you lying to me? I was like, no. No. And then that was not fun. I'll say that.
Then going to Aldersgate.
Yeah.
Aldersgate. That was your junior year, wasn't it?
That was my junior year, y'all's freshman year.
Yeah,
Tough.
that was a hard time. I remember getting on the bus. There was I think there was 11 freshmen or something like that. And there's a picture of us all that Dad took of us all there. And I think
In front of the bus.
in front of the bus, and just I can visualize that picture right now. But we got there, and I remember William Short was in front of me. Or he was I was sitting like in the front of the bus, and he was either in front of me or behind me, and we were sitting there talking to the bus driver. He's like, why are all these train tracks still here? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, they don't even use these anymore. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yes, they do.
What are you talking about? We're past all these railroad tracks, and the bus driver's like, what in the what? It was funny.
I don't remember that.
But
Were you at Elliot's meeting during camp?
his meeting.
Yeah, he got a bunch of freshmen together, like at least 5 or 6 of us. And he was like, guys, we got to do something about this. Like, if it keeps going the way it's going, we're going to have to fight.
I didn't know that.
I
I
can't remember.
No idea.
Because somebody was going to cut his hair.
Yeah.
And, like, it was a whole joke. Like, they were going to hold Elliot down and cut his hair. And he was like, guys, like, I'm going to need help. Because, like, I'm going to swing.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
And I was like, Elliot, I don't know if you know how big you are and how big they are, but, like, bro, I don't know what I can do.
It was a scary time. I remember being terrified going to bed.
Yeah.
Like, even like going in and taking showers and stuff. I would be the last one in the shower house because I was terrified of what Donahue and that crew
What somebody could have done.
It was awful.
And the shower stalls didn't lock.
I know.
It was just...
One part did. You just had to pick the right one.
Yeah, but we were freshmen, so we didn't get to.
I remember there was a Wi-Fi password and John wouldn't give it out.
Yeah.
And I got it, I think, on the last day, and I was so pumped.
You remember listening to music? You know, and like the only music we had downloaded on our phones was like Eminem and the Beatles. That's all we could listen to because we didn't have service.
I remember playing Freebird at one point.
Yeah.
You had to go into the cafeteria in the chow hall to get your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was awful. That was the worst part about it. And then you got no phones, no mommies, no daddies, no girlfriends, just me.
Mike Jones.
Crazy time.
What a guy.
I can't believe that my parents let me go do that. like,
Oh my
like
gosh.
they knew so many of the people on the team and the coaches. And
Hey,
they,
you survived.
They still let me go.
You survived.
So, Mom and Dad, as you're listening, I guess thanks. That was definitely suffering.
That was a character builder.
It definitely did. There was like a very pivotal point because like I had an inhaler and I have asthma, but like I kind of just leaned on it like a crutch. So
Yeah.
like I'd get out of breath at practice and I'd be like, oh, I have asthma.
Yeah.
Let me sit down and take my inhaler. And I remember your dad, I came to him and I was like, I need my inhaler because we were running like the third practice of the day. And he was like, no, it's in the truck. And I was like, what do you mean it's in the truck? Like, I need it. And he was like, no, you don't. Go run. And I remember looking to the side of the field at somebody that had just quit running.
Yeah.
At the horses? The horses side or the creek side?
The creek side. And I was like, I can't stop. Like, I've just got to do this. And that was the point where I decided I was just going to get better
Yeah.
in high school.
I remember waking up in the morning and Russ Swim kicking down the door. It's
2
all right,
hour
boys,
run.
let's go run.
And then he's riding in the truck with Mike.
Yeah.
No, I think he went back to sleep. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be complete. I'll say this. For anybody that played with us, the one thing that happened was I picked the first cabin. It was literally like 5 steps up the hill. Everything else was like Rambo climbing up the mountain.
Yeah.
And so I picked the first one. I put all my stuff in there. I had 5 other people with me because I was older and like they tried to split us all up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, I got my bunk. I'm good. I'm going to survive. The next thing I know, I see Drew, Mo, Dad. Can't remember if Baber was coaching at this time or not.
Baber wasn't there.
Baber was not.
Uh-uh.
And I think it was Mike. They opened the door and said, get out. I said, are you serious? I said, you got to be kidding me. Everything else is took. Like I ain't got nowhere else to go. He goes, nah, go up there. And so mine was like up on the hill. You had to snake up like 100 yards and like bear crawl all the way up top. And so like half the time I didn't even go up there. I stayed in, I think it was in Nova's. And then turns out, after one day, they moved out.
Yeah.
And
I remember them staying at the lodge.
Yeah.
That made me so
Dad
mad.
went
They
home.
went home. A lot of them
Dad went home.
Really?
Yes. My
lot
dad
of
went
them went
home. And so, like, I'd call him, or whatever service I had. I know he wasn't there. And I was like, Dad, where you at? He said, I'm at Wigwam. What? Hold on, what? He goes, yeah, I'm at the house. Mom didn't feed the dogs. I said, what? Take me with you. He goes, no, you gotta stay. Crap.
It was, let's see, my room, it was me and you.
Lucas Walling.
Lucas Walling was in there.
I think
Wyatt-
Caleb.
Cal
Knopp.
Haling. Or no, Cal
Knopp was
Knopp.
in there.
Cal Knopp
Yeah.
was in there. And Wyatt Francisco,
Yeah.
and there was one
Dude.
other older guy.
It was JD.
It was JD, yeah.
JD and Wyatt in the same bunk was so stupid.
It would have been so much better if they Well, for us, anyways, I can understand the philosophy of like, oh, getting all the upperclassmen and the younger classmen together to mentor and all that stuff. But they did not mentor.
Had to be very selective on choosing who.
It was very. I remember Pep ended up like coming in our room for most of the time.
Yeah.
Then the one time with Wyatt. I ain't gonna talk about that.
No.
That's
I love you, Wyatt.
Yeah.
But
Thanks for being a character builder.
then the running the 2 miles in a day, Robbie Johnson would just show up in the morning.
Yeah, like I didn't even know Robbie at the time. No, I got to coach with him this past year, so I know who he was. But like back then, when you're waking up at 4 o'clock, you wake up at the butt crack of dawn. He's like, "All right, boys, here we go. We're gonna touch the furnace."
I was like, "Who is this?"
Yeah, I had no idea, and I was like, "All right, here we go."
Well, I'm like walking 2 miles. Everyone else was running 2 miles.
I think it was me, you, Puddin, and Bailey Muncie. They were at like the back of the pack.
Caden Hardy was back there too.
Caden Hardy?
Yeah.
Oh, Caden Hardy.
And Micah.
Oh boy.
But that was
78.
that was a wild time over at Aldersgate. Then we went creek wrestling. That was fun.
That was.
Then we also mud wrestled.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd bring that up, but
Yeah, this was going to be one thing I wasn't going to even attempt to bring up.
So there's
but you
some-
brought it up.
there's some
that's
deep
all
digging you can do on the internet, and you can find video evidence of me and Gabe wrestling in a
Oh boy.
probably like a 10-foot wide mud hole.
What is it? It's Gaga ball. Yeah.
And it was raining.
It was awful.
There were rocks.
There was rocks.
There were big rocks in there. And we talked about it. I was like, we're going to have to do this. Let's just like butt up,
Yeah.
go to the ground, and that'll be it. And then you came out of the gate way, way far ahead than me. You just laid on me. I was like, dude, we had an agreement. I'd never felt betrayal like that until that day.
God.
It smelled
times.
so bad. Oh, it
So
smelled
bad.
so bad. Then I remember us going and the competition level between us. And then when Donahue and JD went, they were going at it. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And I think Wyatt went too at one point, but they were going at it.
Yeah.
But Aldersgate, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that bad. Like I
Well,
said,
for the older kids, it wouldn't have been
Yeah.
that bad.
I didn't think it was that bad.
But you got to think of fat, out of shape, 14-year-old going in that, scared out of his mind, and just traumatized for 3 days. It was bad. It was bad.
I don't know. I mean, I'll talk about it here in a second. Like, just football and camp is just different. Because here in a second, I'm going to segue into that kind of stuff.
It's a different
It
type of
is
animal.
different. Like, I mean, I played it, coached it, and then you've coached track with me. Which, by the way, I'm going to shout out Gabe. Awesome coach. Heck of a job this year. I will say that. Did an amazing job for not knowing anything about track,
Yeah, I didn't know
except for
what was
running
going
like 5Ks like a
Yeah.
freaking animal. Even though he didn't even do long distance, I promised. I felt so bad. I promised him. Like I called him like in February during all the snow and flood. I was like, "Hey, I got sprinters. You'll get long distance. That's your baby." Turn around first week. He's with the sprinters. And he stayed with them the whole time. And I was like, ooh, I definitely promised him that. And I didn't even attempt.
Hey, it was fun though.
But we did. We survived. We survived.
Besides state sucked.
No,
State sucked.
no. Bull County sucked.
Bull County was the worst meet.
That was awful. Like, I've never, like, so, I mean, y'all been around me. I don't get overly excited that much. But, like, it was just cold and miserable. At one point, one of the kids was so cold he put a Rice Krispies treat box over his head and just sat underneath the tent.
Yeah, it was bad.
You serious?
It was bad.
Oh, 100%.
It was like 45 degrees.
Y'all have blankets out there?
No, they didn't. No,
No one came prepared. Nobody came prepared.
It's like when they come like, hey, I just brought shorts. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I brought snacks. I brought the cooler. I brought the tent. I brought the tarp. By the way, that tarp is clean now. Tarp is huge. But I'm like, listen, I'll bring everything else. I ain't gonna bring clothes.
Yeah.
Which is fair trade. And they eat all the Rice Krispie treats and the fruit smiles.
Yeah.
But besides that, that was miserable.
It was so cold. And it lasted so long. We didn't even stay the whole time, and we got home at, 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Like, so, for all the people that, like, do you know much about track, like 100 meters? No. So, like, the 100 meters, like, last, like, if it's boys and girls, it'll probably last, like, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
To get everyone in.
eight people running at a time, 5 or 6 heats going. 20 minutes at that. The 100 meters took 58 minutes. Like, it had enough time for my boys to get done throwing shot put and the girls get done doing discus. It took that long.
Did they have that many people? Or
Yes.
It was that many people, and it was ran very poorly. So the meets started at 5:30. They started senior night at 5:30. They didn't start.
Which is fine.
They didn't start running races until like 6:15, 6:30.
But they also had like 12 seniors. But their seniors were really good. And they did really well. So I was okay with that. And then you look and you see probably 1 million people lining up to the 100. Because the 100's like the easiest event. Mm-hmm. And everybody and their brother thinks they can do it. And like we're just looking. I'm like, oh. And I had a girl, she was wanting to run it, and I was like kind of watching, make sure like she could run it. I'm like, yep, nope, we still got time. She's got done with all of her throws. She's like, think I'm good now? I was like, they haven't even called first call yet. I was like, don't even worry. That one was bad. State was bad.
It was
just
so
because
cold. State was bad because it was raining.
It was just raining.
Nobody wanted to be there.
I'm trying to think of the other ones that were bad.
That was about it, honestly.
Williamsburg was almost miserable.
Yeah.
But they actually did really well, I will say.
The first central meet was kind of rough. The second central meet was better.
Because they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Our meet went pretty well. The one we hosted, I thought anyways.
You thought. I spent 45 minutes trying to find a rake. I swear, yes. Just a regular old rake. Like to push the sand out with. I don't know where it went. And then what sucks is like, obviously like, I had no idea what track was until I was at Garrett County 2 years ago. And y'all remember Mark Centers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the AD, assistant principal over there at Garrett County. He's like, hey, we don't have a track coach. Come on. And I was working over there. I was a special ed teacher. I was like, maybe. I was trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. And I was like, no, not really. And he showed me how much it was with my double-digit bank account with all that number. And I was like, yes, I will do this. And so I did it. And I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I had no idea. All my kids were freshmen and sophomores. I had 4 seniors. But they knew what they were doing. So I was okay with that. We didn't have a tractor run on, so we ran in the parking lot, which was hilarious. Don't know, but we did it. But circling back is like, had no idea what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. Still don't. Just kind of going with it. But trying to find all that stuff made me realize I looked at Mo and I was like, I do not want to host another meet. He goes, but you did so well. I was like, I spent 45 minutes trying to find a rake. One of my tape measures broke for long jump. And then, the bad part was, I don't know if you know this, one of the coaches got mad at Mo, Drew, and Dad because they didn't have that tape.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what happens is, like, one group does long jump, one group does triple jump. There's not a whole lot of triple jumpers. Triple jump's very hard.
Yeah, it's
like,
difficult.
It's very difficult. and like I think they had like 5 people doing it. Everybody does long jump. Long jump's the one where you just run, hit the board, and go. Triple jump is like 1, 1, 2 into the pit, and that is very difficult. And the one for long jump, the tape broke, and so like they have to know where they start at, and they're like, they don't know where to start. They don't know. My dad's like, I don't know, and my dad's got the iPad just sitting there. I was like, and I ended up stealing the one from triple jump. But yeah, besides that, that was entertaining. We survived. That's all that matters.
As the night Kentucky got beat by Tennessee in the March Madness tournament, because I had the laptop and I had it playing in our tent area, and everyone was watching that instead of doing what they're supposed to be doing. But
hey, we got up by like 9 o'clock.
We did.
It was very, like, all the coaches were like, oh, it's very well run meet. I was like, no, it's not. Like, I was so stressed out. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, we got out early enough. I was able to go to El Ranchito and, like,
Dang.
take it home with me. So that was nice. But,
Yeah.
Track was fun this year.
It was.
It was really fun.
It's different. It's different from, like, it's more relaxed, which I never thought it would. Like, I really enjoy track. It's very...
I liked going to track meets. I thought, like, the long day, I thought it was nice.
Yeah.
But
I enjoyed how we only had one Saturday meet. Or do we even have a Saturday meet?
No, I did that on purpose.
We didn't even have Saturday meets. I loved it. Just going on Tuesday night or Thursday night or Friday night or whatever. Oh, it was nice.
Yeah,
was
I
a
did
good
that on
schedule.
purpose. I was like, how many meets we go to? 8 or 9?
We had a bunch. 8 or 9.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that next year. We'll dial it back a little bit. But, like, we'd have, like, a practice on Monday, meet on Tuesday, give them that Wednesday off. Thursday, we'd practice for, like, an hour. Like, I think the longest practice we had was, like, an hour and a half, and that was tryouts.
Yeah.
really,
That's the
Dude,
longest.
I get
we went.
in and out, dude.
Towards the end of the year, we were getting out in
20 minutes.
35 minutes.
how?
They'd run and
They'd
get
run.
done.
My
Get done
thing-
with
my
the
thing-
workout and they'd leave.
My thing is, like, if you run, because, like, I did a lot of research saying I don't know what I'm doing, but I do. He can attest. I have probably about 70 pages.
It's a big sheet.
It is a very large spreadsheet of workouts, the philosophy, and all that. And it works because I did, like, my data analysis at the end of the year. And, like, everybody was dropping, like, 0.4 of a second, which in track time, that's impressive.
Yep.
And, like, I'm more like focused on sprinters, which is like 1, 2, and 400. Like, there's kids that's dropping 4 seconds in the 400. That's impressive.
Yeah.
The most impressive one was a mile.
Caden Bowles.
I will shout out Caden Bowles. I felt so bad for him. So at the end of last year, he ran like a 7:20 something. The first meet of this past year, he ran like a 6:22. So he dropped a minute from a whole calendar year. I was like, heck yeah. And then Jason looked at me, and I talked to our assistant
His dad.
coach, Jason Bowles. He goes, is that possible? Dropping a whole minute in a year? I was like, well, I reckon. I was like, I mean, he works really hard, and I'll give it to him. And, like, he was on pace to breaking the school record, which was like a 5:20.
5:20.
Dang.
Yeah.
He ran a 5:22 was his PR this year.
Yes. And then
Dang.
I felt so bad. He got sick. Like,
Yeah, he got COVID.
And I was like, Caden, we're going into regions. I'm like, Caden, just give it all you got in this mile. I was like, there's a kid, he runs exactly what you're trying to get, pace him, you got it. Like, this is the only thing you have to do, because usually he has to do, like, 2 other events. And I was like, screw it, just go all out. Like, I don't care. Like, I trust you, go get it. Because, like, he really wanted that record. And I felt so bad. He got, like, 3 seconds over it.
Gosh.
which is
That's cooking.
He ran a 5:25 that meet at Madison Central. He ran a 5:22.
yeah.
And the record was
Crazy
5:20.
fast.
But he dropped a whole minute from March till May
Yeah.
in his mile,
insane.
and he got sick. He went on senior trip. He wasn't there half the time, which was not his fault. But like, and I know he did not run in New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but I was like, dude, and like even like Ethan Benton, he dropped almost a whole minute and a half.
Ethan ran a 7:02 the first meet. The last meet he ran a
6:20.
he ran like a 6:10.
6:10, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I was very impressed.
But Ruth ran them kids hard. Them long distance kids.
Dude, it was ridiculous. Like, because it's like a redneck family reunion. You got people everywhere. It's like Ruth's down there in the corner. Me and Gabe's down here with the sprinters. Half the time I wander off and do long jump. Then I'll go wander up to the old practice field and go with the throwers. And I'm like, oh, we got a lot of people. And we had like 40 kids.
I think the most we had at one time was like 38.
38.
38 was the most we had at one point.
Yeah, it was something. It was really fun though.
A lot going on at all times. But it was fun.
It was very fun.
I'm glad it's over for the year though.
Yeah.
Do I?
So how much like decision making power do you get? Because you said you planned the meets.
Oh yeah.
You said you're gonna dial it back. Like, are you in full reign of?
Oh yeah. I'm grabbing the bull by the horns.
So he schedules what meets we go to.
Yeah.
And
I've never thought about how that worked.
Yeah. Like I have to. It's I got a good system of like. I have to pull up and like once it hits about. I made my schedule at the end of January because I got hired at the end of January, made my schedule in February. And oh my gosh, it was like I have Google Maps pulled up. I'm like, how far is this drive?
Yeah.
Like, and there's some like we rolled into the late at Williamsburg. The first meet we went to,
Shelby County.
so that's an hour and a half away. And then at that time, knowing what I know now, at that time I did not incorporate like buses being there on time, which is not their fault at all.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
It's just how it is. And then like our bus driver, she doesn't work in the she doesn't work for the school. She just does like the field trips. So she drives from Richmond, comes to get us.
Oh,
And
really?
then-
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like she lives close to me and I had no idea. And so like I didn't think about that. But talking about Shelby County, so usually how it goes is girls go first, boys go next. So it's 4x8, which I knew the 4x8. I didn't have a team at that point, so I'm like, yeah, we ain't gonna run it. Then the next one's 100-meter dash. So we get there, and our two girls did not have enough time to get in line and get registered, so they didn't get to run their 100. And like throughout the whole meet, I'm sitting there going, guys, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. And like I felt so bad. And then
They did get to run the 200 though.
they did get to run the 200 and the 400, which was nice. But I was like, I felt so bad because like sprinters, most time you just run the 1 and the 2. And then our boys got off the bus with their spikes on, got in line, waited like a minute, and then ran. And then they beat their time from last year by like
Holy
0.6 of a
crap.
second.
Yeah,
It was
they didn't
ridiculous.
stretch.
They didn't stretch. No. Like we're pulling in. I'm like, all right, guys, if you're on the 100, go ahead and put your spikes on and go ahead and get in line. Like I'm yelling at them in the bus. Like I'm like, get your spikes on. Let's go. And like you just see them hop out and go. And they almost did it at Williamsburg too, but they had enough time to stretch.
And this was my first ever meet, so I have no clue what's going
Yeah.
on. And we show up late, and I'm just looking around, and we're trying to set up a tent and trying to find a good place to set up. I'm like, all right, guys, you got it. You got it.
And I try to like prepare him. I'm like, dude, there's gonna be so much going on. you just gotta sit and soak it in with this first one. Because, like, when I did it at Garrett County, like, it was me and another first-year teacher. And she had no idea about track. Mind you, I'm just graduated college. I thought I was going to be a physical therapist. That didn't happen. I'll talk about that later. And, like, somehow I'm teaching in a school, which I swore up and down I wasn't. Just, I don't know how that happened either. But we get there, and, like, it's kind of like that whole thing. Like, we don't know what we're doing. Like, I'm sitting there in the front, and there's a coaches meeting before every meeting. I'm like, I'm lost. Please help me. And, like, the lady at Mercer County was awesome. She helped me out so much, and I still go back to her and talk to her about stuff. But she was very helpful, and then kind of like that, like, you just don't know what's going on. It's ridiculous. And I think one of the parents came up to me, and it was like their kid's first year doing track, and they're like, this is crazy. Like, there's so much going on. I was like, I know. Like, you can't just, like, you got running events, you got jumping events, you got pole vault, which scares me to death.
We don't do pole
We
vault.
don't do pole vault.
You got to get certified to do pole vault. And it's really...
It's more like insurance and all that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of...
People get hurt that often?
Yeah.
You know what pole vault is?
It's the one with the big stick and they run, yeah.
So this is the fence.
And then they gotta like kick their
And
legs
so this
up and get
this
over
guy's
it.
coming here,
Yeah.
and he
I love
sticks
the
it in the
visual.
ground. Then the guy flips over it like this,
Yeah.
and the pole falls, and they flip over and land on the mat.
That's-
And a lot of times it's what, like 20 foot in the air. Or something
Yeah, like
that.
it's ridiculous. Like I was watching one of the girls do long jump because I was trying to help her with her spot. And I'm just sitting there, I'm watching high jump. She goes, "Did you video that?" I was like, "No, I'm sorry." I was like, "Paul, it's ridiculous." Like, there's a kid at Madison Central. He's like top 10 in the state. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I can't imagine the desire to do that.
Yes, let me run with a large stick and jump over a pole.
Stick it in the ground and hope.
The worst part is, like, this is gonna sound terrible. Like, if you ever seen like people fail on it, like, it's scary.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely scary. Like, it's awful.
Because sometimes what'll happen, they'll be running and they stick it in the ground instead of going up. They go to the side.
To the side or back down.
You
So like
go
the
back
pad,
this way.
the pad's kind of like a glorified block U.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then it's like, they'll either hit right here. Like, there's a little spot. I don't know if you ever noticed this. But like in the bottom of the U, that's where like the pole sticks, and that's where you're supposed to put it. So it's like indented a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so some people will hit that on their way back down. And that's just
Metal.
Jeez.
and or like the track, which hurts in general. That, yeah. It's scary. Oh, it's scary.
But track, it was a good time.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. So, nice little segue section here, I think. So we've talked about kind of your coaching career a little bit. I kind of want to backtrack a little bit. You played college football
I did.
at the University of Cumberland's for how many years?
4.
4 years.
4.
So I just kind of want to ask you, what, coming out of high school, what led you want to play college football, and what led you to Cumberland's?
I will say that was like one of my goals growing up. So like in high school, I don't know if y'all remember this, but like in front of the gym, there was these pictures of like all the college, like kids from high school. I was like, I wanted to be on that so bad when I was little. My dad coached, I played. I was like, I want to do that. So I made a decision after my sophomore year. I was like, you know, I think I can do this. I think I can. And I had the opportunity to do that. And so it was an experience, I will say. And like, that was one of my goals. I was like, I want to do this. I want to play ball. And then when I got a little bit older, I was like, and I understood like the fast foot and like scholarships and all that. I was like, okay, I just want to get my college paid for. Because, you know, I mean, both my parents worked, and I was like, I want to do something with my life. Like, obviously football is not going to be my entire life. I run a 5 flat 40. At the time, I was like 245. I know I'm not making it to the NFL.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was like, heck yeah, I'm going. But I knew that wasn't going to be my whole life. So I was like, my goal kind of shifted a little bit from, I just want to play college football, to realizing that, hey, I have this opportunity to go get my school paid for, which I think helped me out in general, because that kind of made a better decision for me. That's kind of maturing and growing up and setting a goal at such a young age like that is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you grow up, you kind of manipulate and tweak it, which I think benefited me. And listen, I'm 23 years old and I'm still trying to reach goals, and I ain't even close yet. But so that was awesome. I thought that was very fun. I ended up going to all those camps during the summer. So like, we got kids right now trying to go to camps, which is awesome. Great. And then going into my senior year, I actually did receive an offer from one of the schools, which was at Cumberland's, which was awesome because, I'm just trying to get noticed at these camps. I'm going to be a senior. This is the last year, and I'm going to go. I was about to die at that camp. It was awful. Like, number one, I love that place so much. I have a love-hate relationship with Cumberland's, but that field is awful. The field sucks. It hurts. My head hurts from it. I got one concussion. It was on that field. I'll talk about that later. One. But I actually ended up getting an offer at that camp, and I went through my senior year. And I kind of went through all that, and then I had 2 or 3 other ones, but I kind of knew where I wanted to be, and it narrowed down to Cumberland's, and it had the program that I wanted to do at that time, physical therapy, which that's what I wanted to do growing up. I was like, I ain't gonna be no teacher. I ain't gonna be like my grandma, my grandpa, my mom and dad, and now look at me. But I did do that. And then COVID happened. And so I didn't have my whole rest of my senior year, y'all's sophomore year.
Yeah.
Which, for you all, it was bad. But this is going to sound very selfish. It was awesome for me. It was awesome for me. Like, I tried to graduate early anyways.
Yeah.
Like, I tried to leave in December. They wouldn't let me. But that's okay. But all I did was lift and run, and that was it. Like, I didn't have to worry about anything. My graduation was walk across the stage, hold my diploma, walk down, out and around, and I was done. It was awesome. But during COVID, like, that's when I was like, that was probably the best shape I was in my life. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like 240, and I was like strong.
Yeah.
But here's the worst part about it. So COVID was happening. They moved our season. So this was going into my freshman year. Going into that season, we played in the spring instead of the fall.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It was awful. So, you talk about camp. How bad it was. I tried doing it in the snow. Like, so we did all of our stuff. We did all of our spring stuff in the fall. And we played in January, February, March, into April. And so, the way that it shook out, I went down there in August. I ended up breaking my foot on the first day. Like, straight up broke my foot. Not a whole lot of people know this because, number one, they don't follow NAIA football. So, and then pay attention to people that graduate anyways. But, like, I break my foot on the first day. So, like, after a week, I'm in a cast. I can't do anything. And like I'm in a position at that time I was like, oh, I'm gonna be able to dress as a freshman. Now, with that kind of level of football, it is very weird. I'll say this, like this is the analogy I use. There's some people I sit there and go, oh my gosh, why are you here? Like, how did we snag you? There's some people that are Division I caliber guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a dude, he ended up playing in the CFL.
Really?
His name is Cameron Dukes, the baddest white boy ever known to man. Yeah, he ended up winning the Grey Cup for the Argonauts. Dude is legit. And then there's some people, you sit there and go, why in the world are you even here? Like, why are you here? Like, it's a complete different spectrum of people. And I'm like, okay. So, like, I'm a rural kid from Kentucky. First off, they don't recruit in Kentucky anyways.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the kids, they went to a Lindsay camp. And, like, there's so many kids from Georgia there and Tennessee. I'm like, yeah.
That's where all the dogs are at.
Yeah. But, like, they were like, it's so different. And, like, me growing up here, it's a little different. And then going away and realizing there's way more than Kentucky, Irvin, Eastern Kentucky. There's a lot of different stuff. And then, so, where's that? That was just an eye-opening thing anyways. And I kind of figured out myself a little bit more at that, which was awesome. I really think that was the best thing for me, going away, which I always encourage kids. You know, they're like, oh, I just want to stay at the house and do that. I was like, listen, if that's what you want to do, that's fine, but I highly encourage you to go and experience stuff. Because there are some amazing people out there in that world. Like, my best friends are from college, and they are the most amazing people in the world. But, like, it's just a different world and experience. It is. I really enjoyed my time there. It depends on what I'm talking about, if I really enjoyed it or not. But, like, if it all comes down to it, I would do it again. Mm-hmm. Now, knowing what I know now, would I do some of the things to help my mental health and all that? Yes, I would do it differently. Because there was at some points it got pretty rough. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm away from mom, dad. Mia's still here. And then she ends up going to Louisville. So she's 3 hours away. All my buddies that I came in with dropped out already or moved. So I'm like by myself. And I was like, it was a very weird time in my life for that. And like, luckily I found a purpose and a reason why. And I got back to my goal of actually doing stuff and setting my goals, prioritizing myself instead of other things that I could not control. And then I actually had people that would help me with that, which I thought was amazing. And like, I'll say this, like, Mia did help me out a whole lot. Mom and Dad helped me out a whole lot. And like, there's no amount of thank yous and all that I could say to get me back to where I was at. Because like I said, the first week I break my foot, I can't do anything. I got very sad. And like I said, I was at 230, 240, best of my life. Christmas, 300 pounds. I ate Chick-fil-A every day. Every single day because it was on our meal swipe. Mm-hmm. So it was awesome. You go up there, tap your card, you get an 8-piece and French fries and a Dr. Pepper. And you don't have to pay for it. It was great. Until you weigh about 300 pounds and you can't move. And then, so that happened. And I come back. I finally get cleared. I come back. I'm out of my boot. And like, I'm moving around. We had camp in January. So like, we're doing like, we called it a county fair. Y'all would not have liked this at all. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, it was awful. I don't remember each station, but there was like a dozen on the field. On the field, 8 o'clock in the morning in January. It is snowing. Caked on the ground, covered.
Mm.
The one I remember, we had to bear crawl like 30 yards. And you couldn't stop. I just remember my hands being red and all of that. And I was like, screw it. I'm getting my hunting gloves next time I do this. Screw this. That was awful. And then at that point, that was when I was like, all right, I need to fix something here.
Yeah.
And then I had the biggest one was I had a text. It was like the first week we were actually practicing, getting ready for games. I get a text from my head coach saying that, hey, you're going to go work with the offensive line for the rest of the year. Mind you, I was still a tight end at this point. That broke my heart, absolutely. Because I was like, I know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I still had a purpose. I knew what my goal was. It's like, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I remember I'm in my dorm room, in my 8x8 dorm room. It was awful. We had like 10 kids in there. Not on the books, but like my room was just the closest to the lobby, so everybody came in there.
Yeah,
I got you.
So like we would have like 8 people in there and like 10 TVs. It was
Terrible.
No, it was actually not that bad. We could now in the second semester we moved rooms, but it wasn't bad. Like we'll just crash there for a little bit and then go. But I remember sitting there in my room crying, and then I ended up calling my coach, which was the guy that recruited me. And I was like, listen, I don't want to play offensive line. Looking back at it now, that's very bold of me as a freshman that hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
It's very bold of me. I was like, I don't want to play this. I was like, I know I can play tight end. I know I can do this. He goes, okay. You have till April to drop down to 250. This is in January. That's a deal. He said, you're not going to play until you drop down to this weight. I said, okay. So I ended up practicing, still at tight end. I get like 5 reps in practice. Now, talking about people that, how in the world are you here?
Mm-hmm.
All Americans, my freshman year, like they were ranked 3rd in the nation. Yeah, 3rd in the nation before I got there. So like all conference guys, and the way NAIA works, most of the schools are in Kentucky, Alabama, Florida, and North Carolina. Then you go Midwest, it's Iowa and Nebraska and all them, and then you go, there's not a whole lot out west. Because there's no, I can say this confidently, an NAIA school could beat a mid-tier Division II. Upper tier, we're getting a little, be a close game. But like, there are some schools that can play. But like, the first practice I ever had 4 reps, I was on my butt all 4 reps. I got beat with a guy by 3 fingers. He only had 3 fingers.
He only had 3 fingers?
He only had 3 fingers.
Huh.
Like total?
Total?
On one hand. On one hand.
Okay.
I didn't know it at the time. But like, I didn't notice it. He played defensive line. So he only had these 3.
Uh-huh.
And the way he always worked, he hit it very well. I had no idea until like he graduated.
Yeah.
But like, these 2 were gone. So he would always wear a glove. So I just happened to look down. I'm like, why is his fingers wiggling like that? And so I said that in my head. And then I had to block him of my very first college practice ever. Still snowing, 20 degrees. I end up 1-2 looking up at the stadium lights. He's over top of me. And I said, Mr. Montgomery, I apologize for making fun of you. I'll never do that again. And I walked back to the huddle and I cried, and that was about the end of my day. Yeah, that was... Ugh. So that happened, and then kind of fast forward and talking about setting a goal. So I was like, all right, new goal, drop weight. I dropped weight like a madman. I dropped 60 pounds in 2.5, 3 months.
Gosh.
It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. Now, mind you, I'm not dressing with this team at this point. So, like, if you're not dressing, you have like 300, 200 kids on the roster.
Really?
Yes.
Dang.
Yeah, like I'll say 200.
Yeah.
So to give you an idea, we travel 75.
Okay.
My class that came in, so the class of 2020, we signed 198 kids.
God.
Signed. Now, I graduated early, and all my buddies graduated this past football season. Came in with 198. They graduated and finished with at least 20, which is really good for those standards. Like, that's a very high number. Usually it's like 10.
Yeah.
Kids usually leave, they go up, and they go somewhere else. Like, I have a buddy, he's going to Wofford this next football season. And then you got kids coming down. Like, one of my buddies, he came from MTSU, Mid Tennessee State. Y'all like this one. Do y'all remember Udonis Haslam?
Yeah.
I played with his son.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh.
He was from Toledo and then came down. And then there were some
You
other
know who that
ones.
is? You don't know.
No.
He played for the Heat.
Yeah.
Basketball player.
Like, we came out for a
Played
second.
with LeBron.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, the cool part is like, he was right after me on senior night. And my mom was like, who is that guy? And I was like, I'm trying to be polite and like not be like, oh my God, it's Udonis Haslam. You know what I mean? Like, homeboy, like, I'm 6'3", so like I'm a large individual. Homeboy is huge.
Yeah.
Like, you sit there and you're like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
he was a power forward for the Heat.
He,
I
yeah.
don't know what that means. I don't
One
know
of the
basketball.
one of the bigger
So, like,
guys.
Like, he's like 6'10".
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
And KD was like 6'8". His name was Kudonis. And KD was also like 27 playing football. Like, when we were in middle school, he started college.
Really?
Yes, it was weird. Like, we would joke. Like, we'd be in our offensive line meeting. Like, we would go when I was older. And he only played the last 2 years that I did. And we were all like introducing ourselves. He's like, all right, and I've played for X amount of years. I'm this old. And somebody was like, and the offensive line coach was like, God, KD, you was in here installing wide zone when they were still getting out the crayons in the mornings. I was like, yeah. I was like, oh my. But he was an awesome individual. But going back to the main purpose of the story now, I dropped all that weight. And it sounds awful, but I did it, and I had a goal and I wanted to do it. I would eat yogurt in the morning, just one bowl of yogurt. We had this place called Tossed. It was kind of like a Chipotle. You get like chicken, rice, cheese, and a burrito. That was it. Eat that for lunch and dinner. I'd go to practice. Then I would go, after practice, get on the bike for an hour. And then, here's the weird part. They wouldn't let the non-dress guys lift. Which was weird.
Really?
It's like a program thing. Like I said, there's 200 odd some people.
Yeah.
Now, this is during the season. So
Okay.
it's a little different. Off season, yeah, everybody's fair
Okay.
game. But, so I would lift in the morning and then do all that. Then go to practice and do all that. And then I'm just sitting there, I'm like, all right, I'm getting somewhere now. I'm going. I'm good. And then I was putting up the pads one day. Now, this is still my freshman year. And Coach Reimer, I love the dude to death. Country and cornbread. And he's probably the main reason why I went there. It fit me, it fit the environment. I was like, all right, this is what I want to do. He looked at me and goes, Swim, how much you weigh? I was like, 240, without a beat. Knowing good and well, I'm about 255, 260. Knowing good and well. He goes, all right, you held up your end. You're going to dress these last 3 games.
That's cool.
And so I was like, heck yeah. It's like, let's go. And then, like I said, we're playing in the spring. And spring break's about to come up. So I'm like, all right, I want to go home. because I didn't really have an opportunity to go home during the year, especially during football, where the only off day I really had was Monday. So, like, we'd play on Saturday, live film run on Sunday, Monday you had off. So, like, I never really had an opportunity to go home, which I thought was very good for me because I was independent.
Yeah.
Even though, like, mom and dad was only an hour and a half away, me was an hour and a half away, everybody's an hour and a half away. Like, on a day-to-day basis, I'm by myself, which was awesome for me, which I needed that. So, I remember I was like, oh yeah, I get to dress. Don't even know what number I'm getting. Like, I was just excited because, like, going into that year before I broke my foot, I was like, I could at least dress. And, like, the coach Reimer, the guy that ended up leaving, he ended up leaving my last 2 years, and he looked at me. He coaches at Whitley County now. He looked at me and goes, you know what? You probably would have played if you were a freshman if you didn't break your foot. I said, you gotta be joking. I said, you gotta be joking. But turns out, spring break, I end up staying. So I don't get to go home. And then that Friday night, they're going to go to Carmel U, which is in Lebanon, Tennessee, which is in the middle of nowhere. And Cumberland U, and like Noah will say this because like his brother-in-law played at Georgetown, and that's in the same conference. Cumberland U is the biggest trap game I've ever played in my life. Like, you dress in the softball hitting cage. The field is awful. It's like worse than Powell County's field. Like,
Really?
the grass field, it's grass.
Yeah,
like
that's rough.
Yeah, that's
like,
That's really rough.
Like, I've played and dressed at amazing facilities, and I've played in some really crappy ones. And that's just how it was. But, like, I was going to go to that game. It's a 3-hour drive from Williamsburg. I was like, all right, I'm going. Here we go. He calls me Friday night, and he goes, hey, I decided I'm not going to take you to this game because you're not going to play. I don't know the playbook because I wasn't dressing, so I don't get the luxury of having the playbook. He's like, it just wouldn't be a good first game for you. You'll go next week to Campbellsville. All right, whatever, cool. Turns out we get smacked. Didn't know it till that next morning when he kicked the punter and kicker out of the team meeting before lifts. So he was already fired up. Now, mind you, if you weren't varsity, you weren't lifting. So this is my first time in the weight room. We ended up doing 6 sets of 8. Heavy squat. There's no percentages, no nothing. You just got to go heavy. You got to go fast. And I'm dying. I'm absolutely dying. Do that. I finished the workout. It was like an hour long. I'm drenched, soaking wet. My gray shirt turned to black. And then I think I end up sitting on the little awning for like 45 minutes. Like outside the weight room. Then the defense lifts after us, and like by the time the defense gets done, I'm still out there. And like one of my position coaches looked at me and goes, Swim, you okay? I said, I'm never walking back. I'm never walking to the weight room ever again. I drove every day after that.
Yeah.
Because it was probably like a 3/4 of a mile walk.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound that bad after you're done lifting.
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah.
Oh God, it's a long walk. But going on, I end up dressing that next week. We play at Campbellsville. I somehow digest the playbook. Like, the coach looked at me and goes, here, hands me the whole thing. I take pictures of it. I still haven't, which was funny to realize how simple it was. But I was just so scared to mess it up. We only ran one play anyway, so it really didn't matter. But I was like, I don't need to know all these other colors. Just need to know one. But I end up going, and I know I'm just there for the ride. I'm here to have a good old time. Mm-hmm. I ate my mystery meat before the game. It was like a weird hamburger steak. It was. We'd have that, green beans, and a baked potato. every single week.
Really?
It was nasty. It's absolutely nasty. And then somehow I end up playing. He looks at me and goes, "You know what you're doing?" And I'm lying again. I said, "Yep." He goes, "All right, here you go." I go in there. I look like the Michelin Man in them white jerseys, white head to toe. And I play. I ended up falling down like 5 times, but it's all right. I'm just happy to be there.
Yeah.
And then the cool part was Mom and Dad surprised me because they're like, I was like, "Don't even bother. I'm not going in."
Yeah.
Like Camsville was pretty good. We just ended up blowing them out, and we ended up playing. And they actually came and watched, and they thought it was really cool. And I ended up seeing them after the game. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like that's awesome."
Yeah.
And then finished that year. I ended up getting a pancake on PAT for the last game. Don't know how.
Let's go.
Don't know how. And then you turn around. You're done with the semester. You got 2 months off. Then you're playing in the fall again.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So like,
That was a brutal
That was
time for everybody.
God, it was awful. And so I was like, okay, I'm back on track. I got my goal now. My goal now is to stay dressed and to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my goal. And I guess the moral of my story is goal setting. But I was like, all right, I know my goal. Turns out I did really good. I had a really good off season. I got back down to about 245. That's about my weight I need to be. Rolling into that next year, same staff at this point. I end up dressing, getting dressed with the 1s, some with the 2s. And then end up doing really well. I play in the first game. Like, not trash time either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I actually play. Like, I'm second string rolling into it.
Yeah.
Do really well. We're smoking people by like 70.
Jeez.
Top 15 in the nation. I ended up playing like 60-some snaps at Florida Memorial in Miami. That was the worst trip I think I've ever been on my life. I've showed him. We took a Greyhound bus from Williamsburg to Miami.
It's a long way.
16 hours. Now, on the way down, like I said, we play on Saturdays. We left on like a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we left, and then we stopped. We ended up smoking them. It's like HBCU, by the way.
Yeah.
Which was a cool experience anyways. Like, they got the band and everything. Like, we're all sitting there watching the band. But that was fun. And then we ended up smoking them, like, halftime was like 42-7.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. And then the bad part was, and I've showed them this video, after the game, we got done like 4 o'clock. They hosed us off, like outside. Like, everybody got soap. And one of my position coaches had a hose and he just sprayed everybody off. And then we got right back on the bus and drove 16 hours straight.
Oh my gosh.
It was brutal. It was brutal.
I hate to break us up. I desperately need a pee break. Like, I'm floating over here, dude.
All right, you're good.
Okay. I'm going to take a pee break.
Is there a pot?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. All right. Where's that? Hosed off in Miami.
Hosed off Miami, back on the Greyhound bus.
Yeah, 16 hours straight.
Sounds like a John Prine song.
It was
Stop
awful.
Miami.
Do y'all want to see the video?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, give me a second. But like I said, we went straight. It's 4 o'clock, and we went straight all the way from Miami, Florida, which is, mind you, that's at the bottom of Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's far down there.
I would be there tomorrow, actually.
Oh
Let's
boy. Go to Florida Memorial. We ended up playing, so like the field that we were at was, I guess, the year before the Super Bowl was at Hard Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're right across the street from Hard Rock.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah. So we played, like, all the things was Miami Dolphins themed, like at high school, college, and NFL hashes.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're all out there, we're like, that one. Like, we got so confused. But that was fun. Oh, here's the video. They just hose us off.
No way.
And like the field's like right there.
That's
Yeah, like I can't make this stuff up. I really can't. And like the field was awesome. Like, see if I got a picture of the field.
Was it like where the Dolphins practiced?
It was where the opposing Super Bowl team practiced.
Oh, okay.
dang.
So like it's a very nice field.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 42-6.
Yeah, and that
In the
is
second
in the second quarter. Like I said, we hung about 40 on everybody. But yeah, we were good that year. But then we drove straight back. And then that next week we ended up beating Bethel, which was very good at the time. They were like 2 top 10 teams in the nation. We ended up beating them.
That's cool.
It was great. It was very awesome. And then we circle all the way back to Cumberland U. Cumberland U is the biggest trap game I ever played in my life. I swear, I don't think I've ever beat Cumberland U. I really don't think I have. We end up losing, so we're top 8. So I think we're 8 at this time. Top 8 in the nation. At Cumberland U, we bat in that softball, or we dress in the softball batting cage. Awful. We lose 10-7. Mind you, we're averaging 40-some points a game. We beat 3 top 25 teams. We're like, oh, this is going to be a really good year. Like, we got dudes. But going into that game, starting running back gets hurt. Love my boy Tease. Tease ended up having like 1,200 yards each year. He ends up hurt. A couple of our corners go down. Our quarterback goes down. And so, like, we just lose 10-7.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. Turn around the next week. I can't remember who we play. But going into that practice, it was like the Thursday. So Thursdays was a prep day for us. No, Thursday was our last full padded day.
Mm-hmm.
We're working on kickoff return. Now, I'm in the back. I'm like 5 yards away from the returner. You don't realize how close that ball is to getting kicked to you.
Yeah.
Unless you're back there. Like, you sit back there and you go, oh my God. So the way we did it, we always returned to our sideline. So I had to travel 50 yards across. So I had to go all the way around and then go. This is probably about week 7. So I'm on the hash. I have to travel. Turns out he sky kicks it back. So I'm already cheating because I got to travel.
Yeah.
I'm going and I stick my foot in the ground. I turn back right to the sideline. It was a beautiful kick. Trip, it was an awesome kick. And then as I'm running to go get this ball, I pull my hamstring.
Oh.
Like, absolutely pull my hamstring. Like, at the attachment underneath my butt, there's no swelling. It's like at the attachment point underneath my booty. So that was bad. Not knowing this at the time, they were going to move the starter from tight end to receiver, and I was going to split reps that week, start the next.
Dang.
And this dude was a senior, so that means rolling into next year I would have been starting unless they bring in somebody else.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, crap, I'm back to square one. I didn't play the rest of I kind of played. I was like gimping around. I tried to pimp it out and get through it, and I couldn't run. So I didn't dress that next week. They ended up moving 2 guys from defense to play over me, even though I knew the position I was going to start. They knew, which was the smart decision. I was just mad at the time because, I mean,
Yeah.
who wouldn't be at that point? Like,
Yeah.
you're getting handed the keys to the car, and you know
Yeah.
you're missing a wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just upset and I was just mad. So they ended up finishing out the rest of that year. I'm like gimping around, trying to run like a injured deer. I was like, all my strides would have been like,
Yeah.
it was bad. And then going into that year, my dad's in the hospital because he had he got sick. So that didn't help at all. Like, my dad almost died. He had pneumonia. No. He almost lost his foot. He had like an infection. He's diabetic, and then he got septic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the hospital, and then I get an email from my coach. It was like 2 days before Christmas. Like, I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
2 days before Christmas. All right, I've resigned as head coach. Crap. This is the dude that recruited me. This is the guy that wanted me to play. This is the dude that wanted me to start. This is like the reason why I came here.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, crap. And I'm still dealing with my hamstring. I'm trying to deal with it. And I had a report in January. I ended up running during the winter, and I ended up pulling it again. So I pulled it in November, pulled it in December, rolling into it, starting spring weights in January, got a new head coach. Oh, God, it's so bad. Like, lifting sucked. That lifting was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, we did a lot of different things that I was not used to. Like, I enjoyed lifting. I don't enjoy it now because I'm old and I don't want to do that every day. Like, I tried to lift the other day and 225 hurt me on squat. I was like, oh my gosh. But, like, his was more like strong man, and then
Yeah.
a lot of kettlebells. Like, he knows what he's doing. I'll give him that. Like, great X's and O's coach, great weightlifting guy. Like, he did strongman after he graduated college and played arena ball. He's very, like, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And so I have to start all the way back over at square one going into my junior year. Starting over, square one. And then they also brought in 2 other kids. One kid from EVA-wise, which was the bigger program. He was good. I feel bad. He ended up dislocating his elbow and he didn't end up playing. I feel bad. And then there's another kid from Tennessee. Played at Tennessee, came back down. And he was dismissed from the team, which he could have avoided that, but I'm not going to go into that. He was dismissed. We're going to leave it at that. So, like, I'm like, well, crap, I'm back at square one. I'm already behind the 8 ball because I'm still having hamstring. Like, I got KT tape going down my leg and just random stuff. Dad make fun of me. He's like, you got a weird tan line back there. I'm like, I know. Mia was like, why do you have that? I was like, I know. But, so, like, I can't squat. It hurts to go sit down to go to the bathroom. Like, I've tore this thing. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, crap. He likes me now, but, like, I think it was the whole fact of setting a standard and trying to implement a new culture. He was very down my throat and blunt about some things. Now, I will say this now, he's better. But back then, no, like, he would get on to me every day because I was injured.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I cannot control this. It is what it was. Like, I'm rehabbing every day. I got very familiar with her trainer, Miss Hoss. Love her to death. Even though she tried to kill me once or twice. But I like, that was when I felt like no matter what I did, I couldn't do anything right for him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I'm trying to please him by any means. I was like, I just want to, do right. Because I felt bad of doing wrong. Mm-hmm. In his eyes, I was doing wrong because I was injured. I can't control that. And I was more harder on myself than I probably needed to have been. But then that kind of spiraled, and I was like, oh, crap, I'm back to square one. Mm-hmm. Usually when I got real bad, I gained weight. So I'm like up to like 280, 270 now. And I'm like, crap. So somehow I ended up surviving. My hamstring's a little bit better. I actually went to my first and only spring ball. Like, I never was healthy to play spring ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up doing decent. Still didn't, he's trying to set a standard. And, like, it's just weird. It was a weird dynamic because, like, I knew I could play.
Yeah.
Like, I've shown it. Like, I know I can play. Even though there's dudes everywhere. I believe in myself and I know I can play. Which ended up towards the end of my career. I ended up playing. I ended up starting all 10 games. Which was awesome. But going into my third year, my junior year, I finally get over my hamstring. I'm busting my butt in practice. Camp's 2 weeks long, get 3 hours, like all that. Long story short, I end up going from, in my second year, I had almost 300 snaps, which is pretty good for a second string guy that only played. No, I'll take that back. About 200 in a 10-game year, and I only played in 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. To my third year of where I only played 3.
Snaps?
3 snaps in total on offense. Yeah. And 2 of them, I subbed myself in because my other buddy was not paying attention. Like, we were supposed to go 13 personnel, so there's 3 tight ends. 2 of them's already out there. They're, like, yelling at them. And I just dart out there. I just go.
Yeah.
Like, I go. No questions asked, I go. And I'm like, heck yeah, I get to be out here. I'm giddy. Yeah. Like, I don't even get to practice with the 1s and the 2s. Like, I'm a 3.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I did that year was punt shield. That was it. That was the only reason why I dressed. I would sit there and I'd count the people. My buddy, and you'll meet him next week, Blake, Dad make fun of us. I would count the people. Blake would count the tick marks.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would both be back there just... And Dad make fun of us all the time. But that was the only thing I did my junior year. And I was like... I mean, I'm grateful that I'm dressing. But I know I can play.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got back into that lull of... like, why am I doing this? I kind of lost my purpose. School got way harder because I decided I was going to be a physical therapist. So I had to take, like, chem and bio. So, like, the average day for me was 6 o'clock, wake up, go to weights. You're done at 7. Shower. Or no, halftime I didn't even shower. I ain't gonna lie. Because I had an 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right after that. So I'd eat right after 8 o'clock. Have a class all the way till 10:50. Eat lunch. I was done after that. And then I didn't start football until 3 o'clock. Meetings. 4 o'clock. No, I take that back. I'm sorry. I had basically class from 11 to 2:30. Mm-hmm. I had football from 3 to 6.
Yeah.
So, I had enough time to eat, poop, grab my extra socks, and let's roll.
Yeah.
And then the worst part was, with the chem and bio, I had labs as well with it. Mm-hmm. So, me and my buddy probably clocked the most hours in a library in a semester. I would go get something to eat, I'd shower, and I'd be in the library from, 7:30 to 11:30. Labs were awful. Now, mind you, I did this for a whole year.
Yeah.
My freshman, sophomore year, easy because, it's...
Gen eds. And...
Nah, well, it's, easier classes.
Yeah.
But, the way our schedule was is, you only have 2 classes a day.
Yeah. And
you had Fridays off. It doesn't sound terrible until you take bio and chem. Because the labs is a class by itself. So,
yeah.
So, Monday I'd have the bio lecture. Tuesday I'd have the chem lecture. Wednesday I'd have the bio lab. Thursday I'd have the bio or the chem lab. Bio lab was the only class I got a C in. Bio was the only one. Mm-hmm. and like I'll never forget. Like we had to do some like bird watching project for a lab. It was like document how many birds you see at a bird feeder and describe the bird. And you know, I'm not doing that. I'm not watching birds. I got better things to do. So I turn it in. This dude, he looks at me and goes, "Now, Mr. Swim, how does this red bird eat off the ground? That bird only eats off of a bird feeder. The one that's on the bird feeder only eats the bird seeds and takes it into the trees and eats it." I said, "Sir, I don't know what to tell you." And I made some lie to say, "My grandma's got them birds trained. They eat Cheetos too." I just didn't put that down. I was like, "I don't know what to tell you, brother." But that class was awful. So like that was a day like me and my boy, he was a swimmer. He was funny. Old Henry. He was something. Swimmers are weird, dude. I ain't gonna lie. They're weird. Like I said, this is a different world then. Because like all the people that was on campus were athletes.
Yeah.
So like even though like online it says like there's 20,000 enrolled, like 1,000 lives on campus and they're all athletes. I wouldn't even say 1,000.
Huh.
Like everybody that lives on campus is either from that Tri-County area of Corbin, Wayne, Laurel, Knox, or I'm sorry, Whitley, not Wayne, or they're international students, which was my roommate my senior year. He was a long distance race walker from Brazil.
You ever seen race walking?
Dude, it's awesome.
It's crazy.
We had a dude, I'm getting sidetracked now. We had a dude at Cumberland's. Their track team's legit.
Like they just won the national championship.
For boys and girls, indoor and outdoor.
Dang.
Yeah. And then talking about, you know, there's dudes that's there. There's a guy before I got there, he played football and track. He ended up leaving Cumberland's to go to Oklahoma to run track. Now, at that time, Oklahoma was really good at track. He ends up winning the Big 12's 100 and 200, and he played ball at Cumberland. Like, everybody was mad that he left, and I was like, why would you be mad? Like, dude's competing with dogs. Like,
Yeah.
go let him run. But there's a race walker dude, and he would lap people that's like running the mile. Dude, like it's legit. Like he won like 3rd place in the Junior Olympics.
What is it, race walking? You can't pick your feet
You
up
can't-
off the ground. You can't have more
You
than
can't
one foot off.
you cannot bend your knees, and you must have one foot on the ground at one time.
Yeah.
Like it's like you ever seen them people like
They
walk
scoot.
sassy?
And they scoot.
You ever seen
They
like
love it. They
yeah, it's like
walking
that.
Yes.
Okay, like the
They're
power walk.
Yeah, they,
Kinda.
they scoot. Oh, they're fast.
Yeah, it's so yeah. There you
Oh,
go.
okay.
Yeah.
Let me see.
So old boy from Brazil was doing this.
Well, his girlfriend did that.
Yeah.
He barely did that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Huh.
That's it.
that's it. And like, my boy Victor, love him to death. He's never been to the States, so like what they do, especially like with track and soccer and swimming, they get them here to get them eligible to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Ah, I got you.
Or like the whole thing with NAIA is like, there's a guy. UK and Eastern have a connection with Georgetown. If they get suspended for some reason, they go to Georgetown for a year. It doesn't mess with their eligibility because it's going from different divisions, so it doesn't mess with that. And then they go back that next year. This dude's name is DJ White. He was good. He moved in from like EKU. He was really good. But Victor was hilarious as well. He loved my cat. I brought my cat to college.
I didn't know you were allowed to do that.
Well,
Was he an emotional support
he
animal?
was.
Yeah.
He was. Like my cat was so skilled, he could open the doors in our dorm room.
Are you serious?
Yes. Like there was a day Victor Victor, I think I was at practice or something. So like the way my dorm rooms were when I was older, it was kind of like a lobby set. So like you open the door and there's a big lounge area, and then it's 3 dorm rooms and one in the back, and the bathroom's over here. I was in the one in the back. I had the big room, which is great. Going from my 8x8 to a 12x24. Yeah. But he would open the door, so it was one of like the arm handles that you pull down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he'd hop up there, grab it, open the door. And, like he'd just be in the lobby, and he'll see me. Like I'll go get food, because he thinks I'm like in the lobby or in the bathroom. He'll just wait on me, and like he'll see me. He looks at me, hunkers down, and scatters back into my room because he leaves the door open. And I'm like, dude, I just saw you. And he's like, I've been sitting here the whole time. He'll go sit on my bed, get the foot of the bed, and just look at me. And I was like, yeah, it was funny. I have a video of that somewhere, but it's going to take me forever to find it. But yeah, there is some wild people that you will meet. And it was just a weird dynamic. Because everybody was there for one purpose, and that was just to
Play sports.
play sports. Like, there's so many different backgrounds, and it really makes you open up about different things. Like, you get so many people that come from different backgrounds, different, just ways of life. And I think it's very interesting. And it made me more open to, like, people. Because, I was y'all know, I was very closed off when I was younger anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to like 3 people. Like, that was it. Now, like, those people, like, made me realize, oh, there's actually really nice and wonderful people in this world. And, like, it was very eye-opening. Now, I'm not going to lie, there were some turds. I'm not going to lie. There were some turds. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to hang out with you. Please go away in the most respectful way. And, like, that's what you're going to face with all your life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that kind of helped me realize, like, oh, I don't have to be a turd to everybody. Like, I can be nice and help these people out. Like, I helped out a lot of people when I was down there. Like, poor Vic, like, I'll talk about Victor. Homeboy didn't know no English. Like, came straight from Brazil to Williamsburg, Kentucky. Like,
Talk about a culture shock.
I bet.
well, here's the random part. So, like, Irving is a decently large community.
Yeah.
Okay. Williamsburg is about the same. If you take the college out of it, like, the college is like 5 blocks. Whitley County is very large. If you take the college out of it, it's a little bit bigger than Irving. Okay, maybe like a Clark County. With the college, it's a little different because the college is like right off the interstate. When I met Victor, he moved in. He's like, I have to go to Walmart. I was like, oh, like, how are you going to get there? He goes, I don't have a car. I was like, well, crap. Like, I'll take you. Like, I'm trying to be nice. I'm going to live with him for 4 months.
Yeah.
Might as well be friends. And, like, I was kind of driving around campus now. Like, campus is, like I said, only 4 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Not very big. Like, Eastern's very large in general because it's just wide.
Sure.
Like, I can get from one side of the campus to the other in, like, 4 minutes. Good, steady walk.
Yeah.
Not a race walk, but like a
Yeah.
regular old walk. Like, I was driving around and he goes, dude, this is bigger than my village back home. Like, this is bigger than my town.
Huh.
And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I've never realized that.
Yeah.
And then like, some people's never drove a car before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought I was gonna, I almost got mad at a kid because the one concussion that I had, the only kid that was there, he was straight from Africa. Like, I don't remember what country. Like, he just moved to the state. Like, he moved to Atlanta 6 months prior to get, accustomed to the States, and then he played for Cumberland's, and he was the only one there because he needed a ride back and forth. I got a concussion. It takes 30 minutes to do a concussion test. And I knew I was bad when I said it. I was at Wichita, Kansas. Not a good day. And our trainer was like, all right, you can't drive. Get him to take you home. I looked at him, and I was kind of being sarcastic. Like, I knew where I was kind of at. I just kind of got a little lost. I was like, you ever drove a car before? He goes, nope. I said, what? I mean, I still had my truck at the time, and y'all remember my truck was large in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, are you serious? You've never drove a car before? And like, I'm mad anyways because I got a concussion. I'm spinning. And he's like, nope. I was like, okay. You got to go up this hill and go a quarter of a mile. I said, I swear, if you wreck my truck, I'm going to be so mad if I ever find you again. He got me there, which was amazing. And I said thank you every day after that. But like, it's a very different experience.
Yeah.
Like, it is very different, which I'm glad I got to experience. And like, and I didn't realize that like I've experienced it now with coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these kids don't go out
Yeah.
of Irvin. Like, we went to Williamsburg for a track meet. And so I was like, I've never been this far away from home. That's an hour and a half. And I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
now granted, I mean, they're high school kids, but like, still, like,
Yeah.
and I had the same thing when I was at Garrett County. And I'm like, they're like, oh, I've never been here before. I've never been out of the, like, a lot of kids don't go outside of those surrounding counties.
Yeah.
And like you wouldn't think of that. And like, it's not their fault at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's just something that they don't do. I mean, that, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But like, giving them an experience and having a way of communicating and talking about these kind of scenarios is like very eye-opening to some of these kids. Like,
Yeah.
it's very different, and that's what I try to do with my students. I'm like, listen, there is a life outside of Irving, Kentucky.
Mm.
And that's why I always tell my senior, like I've told so many seniors, I'm like I have them for PE too, in the middle of badminton. We're sitting there playing badminton, just go away, like go. I'm like, go. I was like, go. Well, usually they try to sneak in. I'm like, go away. But then I'm like, they'll talk because, I'm close in their age.
Yeah.
So they feel comfortable to talk about that, which I'm fine with. Like, they'll ask me some questions. And I'm like, I'll answer them to the best of my ability without swaying you with anything. Because, like, I know you for a short amount of time.
Mm.
I don't know what your desires are, but I will give you enough information from my experience to help you, which I felt like I've done enough. I'm not saying like I've convinced people to go to Cumberland's or nothing, but like I love that. I have a love-hate relationship with that place, as you all know so far. But like it's very different. And like you sit back and like I remember talking about it to a kid in March, I think. I was telling him about these kind of experiences. I'm like, it's very different. And I had to sit back and be like, oh, like, some of these things they will never think about. Like, if you would have told me where I'm at today and what I've done as I was 16 years old, I would have told you was crazy. Like, it's hard for kids and, heck, even adults to understand that. Like, it's very different. Like, you'll experience so many different things, and your mind and opinions will change over time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Just depends. But, like, being exposed to those experiences is very different. And that's what I try to do, like, with coaching, with track, with football, with teaching, is to give them not a controlled environment they're used to.
Yeah.
which I think is awesome. I wish somebody would have done that for me in school than growing up. Because like I said, that first year of college, I stayed in my room and I ate Chick-fil-A every day and I got fat. Like I did not do anything. I was on the phone with Mia all the time, which ain't nothing wrong with that. I love you, Mia. Just put that out there. But you know, like, you're supposed to experience different things.
Yeah.
I did not. Not saying that was a good or a bad thing for me, but like, some people just never did.
Yeah.
But then there's that.
That's something one of my mentors was big about.
Yeah.
Like, he tried to convince me to do graduate school after college. He was like, I don't care if it helps your career, just like apply to some graduate program somewhere else. He was like, you're driving 20 minutes from home to here.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else and do something. I was like, no, man, I can't. Like, my family's here.
Yeah.
And now, Dad left. Mom left. My family left, bro.
And that's what I said earlier. I was like, you know, I had a option, like, I'll say this, like, for me to go to Eastern would have been about the same for me to go to Williamsburg and play. But I was like, I want to do something different. Now, I had a little bit different experience when I was graduating. So I was like, I want to get out. I want to go away.
Yeah.
You know, you're locked in the house forever. Yeah. Like, I want to go do something.
Yeah.
Like I said, that was the best thing that happened to me. And, like, I've talked about this with my dad, my mom, and Mia. Like, if I went to Eastern, I would have been a completely different person.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been a hermit, because that's how I am anyways. Like, I can hold a conversation all day, but my social battery runs low very fast. Like, when I get done teaching, and I go drag practice, I got like 15 minutes, I usually sit in my caboose, and I sit there and go, Like, Gabe's sitting there's like, Mark, are you okay? I'm like, no. No. But, yeah, like, that's what I will always stand by that. Just go and do an experience. If you don't like it, that is perfectly okay.
Yeah.
Because, like, there were some parts of college I absolutely did not like. Like, talking about that year, you know, I was like, playing 3 offensive snaps. I seriously thought about transferring. I was like, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't like it. And I tried to do some different things, like, you know, talking to people, which that also ended up helping was I talked to people that did not know me as well, because, you know, I'm going into my 3rd year of college. People kind of know who you are. Your professors stay the same. Yeah. Like, heck, my athletic trainer was one of my professors. Like, she literally lives on campus. Like, her house is on the campus. She's been doing that freaking long. Oh, Peggy. Oh, Peggy.
Oh, Peggy.
Oh, Peggy. She absolutely killed me. She abused me, like, every day. From breaking my foot to tearing my pec, which was absolutely the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Broke my wrist. Hamstring was pretty bad. And that was all in 3.5 years. Yeah, the peg was probably the worst, though. I'm not going to lie.
I didn't know you tore your peg.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
How'd you do that? Lifting?
It was lifting. It was that, after that 3rd year, I made a decision. Wait, I'm trying to remember. At one point, I was actually trying to play offense. Here's a funny part. The offensive line coach my 3rd year was an NFL coach. It was an NFL player. He won a Super Bowl, won the college national championship. He's crazy. Absolutely crazy. He's... There's some things I cannot say. I can't repeat. Yeah. Like, he was... Like, if you look him up, like, he's been kicked out of practice.
What's his name?
Do that after.
Do it after. I can't. I'm not going to try to name drop too much. Because there's some things, like, I just...
Gabe's trying to get you in trouble.
Yeah. Well, like, and I'll say this, like, I can say this. One of my buddies, he ended up moving from tackle to tight end that last year I was there. And he goes, I'm glad he's not here. Like, he made me not want to play football ever again. And, like, there was, it was really bad. And, like, he was a great mind. I will say that. But a flip will switch very quickly. But going back to my thing is I tried to, I was determined, go from 3 snaps. I was like, well, crap, I want to play. I was like, in December, after that year, I was like, all right, I want to gain some weight. I want to play tackle. On purpose this time. I was like, I got a shot because that kid was coming back for senior year. They were bringing in 2 more kids. And I was like, well, I ain't got a shot. I want to play, And so I talked to the position coach. He's like, all right, that's fine. And I walked in the offensive line coaches, and I was like, hey, can I play tackle next year? He goes, well, buddy, you better get you some double cheeseburgers and get to eating. And I was like, all right. So I got to get up to 300 pounds. I walk in January, that first day of weights. They're not there. The offensive line coach resigned, which was a wonderful thing. And then the running backs coach ended up leaving and going to Florida Atlantic to be their recruiting coordinator and a special teams coach, which was a good thing for him. Like, he was I feel bad. He got caught in a bad situation. Like, y'all probably don't know what I'm talking about, but remember when Kansas was really good at football, like in 2010? Long story short, they got in trouble. Like, at the peak of when Kansas was good, like 2010, like they beat, I think they beat Texas or somebody that year.
Yeah.
Turns out they got blacklisted by the NCAA because they had too many coaches on staff. So, like, you can have X amount of coaches, but you can have endless amount of analytic guys, which is like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But, like, you can't be, like, a paid coach. Long story short, he was the fall guy. He got promoted from analytics to position coach to offense coordinator. And then he was the fall guy because he was the newest one moving up. So that derailed his coaching career.
Jeez.
Which, it's bad, but, like, he's back up to where he's at a Division I program. He enjoys what he does. I've talked to him once or twice after he left, but walking in to that first session of weights, we got our offensive coordinator say, hey, I'm just making sure I'm still playing tackle this next season for you. He goes, what? I was like, what do you mean? He goes, nah, you're playing tight end, brother. I said, but they said I'm playing tackle. Like, they said it was all right. I said, nah, you're playing tight end. He used some other words, and I was like, well, crap. I'm, like, up to 310 now. I'm like,
Cut weight again.
I'm like, God, I got to cut weight again. And I was like, oh, my gosh. And so, like, I did better. And then I'm doing good, and they ended up tearing my pec that same year. I was doing bench, and it wasn't like anything heavy. It was like 185. We were going like 65%. It was like deload. And like, have you ever seen like, what's the video of that powerlifter where it all like bunches
Larry
up?
Wheels.
So like he explained it. He explained it like it's almost like Velcro ripping.
Yeah.
Mine didn't ball up and completely come out, but like I still have a knot in my chest.
Jeez.
So like I was repping it out, and like I push, and I'm like, ooh, that don't feel right. I walk over to Star, which is Noah and Mo's brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, he's a defense coordinator, and I'm like, dude, something ain't right. He goes, what do you mean? I was like, I think it tore my pec. He goes, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, it don't feel right. Like, it's hurting to move 60%. And so I was like after I tore it, like 2 more sets, I'm like, yeah, something don't feel right. So I ended up going upstairs. Luckily, the doctor was there that day, so he evaluated me. And sure enough, I ended up tearing my pec and labrum. And I didn't get to do spring ball that year. Now we got a brand new offensive line coach. He brought in a whole new system, which is what we used my senior year. But it sucked because, you know, this is the third time I'm getting reevaluated.
Yeah.
I'm there 4 years, and I had a different position coach every year. 2 head coaches, 3 offense coordinators, and 3 different offensive line coaches. I'm like, so it's like that. They'll say the best thing. It's like a job interview. You're always getting evaluated, and I gotta prove myself every year. And I'm like, not saying like you have to coast or anything. Like you can let off the gas. Like I'm like busting my butt every day just to even dress at this point. And so at the end of that, I don't lift. I couldn't lift. Actually, I did. You know, like the what's it called? Like the super heavy squat rack. It's got like the bar.
Yeah.
Like little handlebar. Squat. Yeah, them things suck. Like we had a squat on a milk crate. Like you know, like the boxes.
Squat to a milk crate.
Yeah.
Ew.
So it didn't matter if you were 5. If you didn't matter if you were 5'8" or 6'10", your butt was hitting that box.
Yeah.
And so I had to do it, and so like the way I held it, I was like this, like I'm strapped in on a roller coaster, and I'd go down, and the things would hit my knees before the box, and so like half the time I wouldn't go all the way down because you know I don't want to impale myself.
Yeah.
Because they have no rubber stoppers, and I was like, what am I gonna do? And they're like, get down, touch the box. I'm like, I can't.
I'm trying.
I'm trying. And then at the end of the year, the offensive line coach, which I absolutely love and praise this guy, like this was probably the best mentor, coach, person, individual I've ever met in my life. He's a former Marine. His name's Will Orban. I absolutely love him. And he said, son, I don't know what to tell you, but you're going to have a shot in August. Don't waste it. I was like, okay, I only got one more. Even though I had 2 years of eligibility, I graduated a year early because COVID had an extra year. So I was the last group to have that extra year of eligibility. So I busted my butt in the summer, lifted, ran, and the way that we did our conditioning, I ran with the running backs, which I thought was a freaking joke. I'm like 280 at this time. And this is also the other reason why I like Coach Orban. I was like, how much I got to weigh? Because everybody was like, oh, you got to weigh under this. He goes, I don't care what you weigh. As long as you move and don't look clunky, I don't care. It's like, oh, yes. 275, 280. Let's go. But we had to do 60-yard shuttles. So the way we did it, it was 5 back, 10 back, 15 back. For running backs, it was under 14. Offensive lineman is 16. So I had to run with the running backs. You have to do that 12 times. We did the midsummer test, and we only ran like 8. I made like 3. The year before I made 2, but it was because I was sick and I was like, okay, new goal. Smoke this conditioning test and then worry about the rest later. Because if I know I'm in shape, I got a shot.
Yeah.
So I ran that thing every day, 5 times a week for 3 months.
Really?
It was awful.
Oh,
And like me and my dad's like is at the point where Dad was coaching at Powell County. We had to run at Powell County. And we found it the other day. You can see like all my documented times on it. And we're like, ooh, man, that was really close. And so like the midsummer test, I was like, didn't get them all. We ended up playing redneck kickball, which was basically you run the bases backwards and you can load them up. So like after we got done running for the midsummer, we'd go play that. And like we had a kid like lose his teeth. So the way it was is like, it was a recruit too. Like he wasn't even enrolled yet. He was like committing. I think he decommitted after that too. But like you're in the corner and there's no out of bounds. So like you remember like where the 200 meter starts at?
Yeah.
We'd kick it right there, and then we'd kick it like backwards where like shot put was at. We'd kick it into the shrubs, and so like some kid turned around and kicked it, and like we're kicking out towards the road. Like we're in the far corner. We're supposed to be kicking that way, but like I said, no out of bounds.
Yeah.
Everybody else like, if we're kicking right here, everybody else is kind of lined up right there, and like the shot put field's over here. So he turned around and kicks it. Absolutely drills a kid right in the mouth.
Oh my gosh.
Teeth fall out. I'm like, I'll go over there and I check on him. I'm trying to be nice, you know. I was like, are you okay? He goes, yeah, buddy, I'm fine. I'm like, oh boy, okay, I'm getting away from you. I was like, are you sure you still want to come here? He goes, I don't know. I don't think I saw him after that though. But I ended up doing that conditioning test. Smoked it. Did it all summer. I about died every time I did it. And you only get like 30 seconds rest.
Yep.
In between. And I told my position coach, I was like, because they all thought I wasn't going to make it. Because I haven't made it out of like 4 attempts yet. And so I was like, all right, if I make this, I'm going to the pilot. I'm getting a big slushie. And we go to that team meeting after this. I'm going to drink my slushie this whole time. Y'all ain't going to say a word. I got it. I got all 12 of my 60-yard shuttles. And I died. Like, I died on the field. Like, I just lay down. My feet was so hot. Like, it was so bad. So, like, the week before, so, like, the way they did it, I almost didn't make it because of what we did before. The week before the conditioning test, seniors came down for their retreat. We went all the way to Gatlinburg. We got a big, nice resort, and we all stayed in there. Like, I slept in a hot tub. Let that sink in for a second. In an in-ground hot tub.
For how long?
2 nights. One night I slept on the floor, and one night one of my...
No, how long? You were in the hot tub for like hours?
You slept, like, it was not full, but... like, it's a big cabin, so, like, there's 10 coaches and 12 seniors.
Yeah.
And so, like, we're like, oh, we get this room. And it's like, same thing my dad did. Like, when we went to camp, he go, nope, get out. So, like, we all were, like, spread out on the couch and the floor. One kid was in the hot tub. One kid was in the... I slept outside. So, like, there's, like, a screened-in patio.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize it. Like, number one, we're in Tennessee. We're in Gatlinburg. There's bears out there.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize it when I laid down. So, like, it was, like, a big dining room table, couch, TV, all that. And then right outside was a screened-in porch. So, like, that's where I slept. I'm, like, the only country hick there. So, like, I'll go sleep out there. It was nice. I wake up, I roll over, and there's a stuffed turkey, like, right in front of my face. I didn't realize it when I did this. It scared me to death. So, like, we did that, and they fed us good. I'm like, God, yes, this is awesome. And then the freshmen came in 2 or 3 days earlier, and they're like, oh, we want to practice with the freshmen. I'm like, no, I will die. I'm like, I ain't doing that. But long story short, I ended up getting that test done, walking into the team meeting where we do the kumbaya, hi, I'm such and such, I'm a senior and I got my slushie. I was ready to roll. And then we going out through that year, I ended up starting, which was a goal. I did accomplish that. So that was good. I played with the torn pecking labrum, which sucked. And it was awful. Like, I couldn't raise my arm past, like, right here.
Yeah.
Couldn't go out, couldn't go up. So, like, we'd do, like, reach and run. And so, like, I could do it to the left all day. I'm like, going to the right, I was like, But, end up going through that. And I'm like, okay, we're starting. We're ranked again. We're having a good year. And then we beat our rival, which was awesome. We had a 3.5 hour rain delay. It was 3 years. It would have been 2 years now. Like, I can't remember who Estill played. It was like Gallatin County or something. It was that same week. I can't remember. But Union is like a 30-minute drive from Cumberland.
Mm-hmm.
Kickoff was at 6. We didn't finish the game until 2:30.
Golly.
It was a 3.5 hour rain delay. And like I said, like, after, like, I used to make fun of my grandpa for, like, saying, like, oh, he's hurting because it's raining. I felt it that day. Like, my shoulder and my pec hurt so bad. And so, like, you know, I'm like, all right. They're like, you got to keep your pads on. I'm like, why? I made the excuse. I'm like, my shoulder hurts. And so I got Peggy with the massage gun. She's digging into my boob. And then, next thing I know, they have the fence. They have like a pool, like an old pool. I'm in the pool, just hanging out, just wandering around. Like, it's like tarped off with like the tape and all that, like the thick plastic. I end up getting in there, and like, I'm just wandering around. Like, I got nothing else better to do. I end up finding like one of them little Target deers.
Yeah.
I found that. I was playing with that. And then I laid back down, and then went to there. We started the game with like a minute left with a 4th and 15 punt in the second quarter. That's how we started it after all that.
Yeah.
We're sitting there like, oh my God. And like, I was like, oh my God, we're going to have to go to halftime again. Thankfully, we didn't have a halftime. We just went. Went. And I will say this. We would have lost that game if we didn't have that rain delay.
Yeah.
And Union was not good.
That'd be my biggest fear as a coach. Like, as a high school football coach.
Yeah.
Where did we play? It was forever away. Owen County.
Owen County.
Like, having to keep kids out of trouble for that long during a rain delay.
I'll never forget after that game. Me, you, and Noah's taking a picture in the back, and Markham kicks the door down. Quit taking pictures!
And like, it's rain delays. Like, I've never experienced one like that. Like, half of us were asleep. And the way the locker rooms were, so like, you'd go down, you got like 3 commodes. That's all you got. Mm-hmm. So if you got to drop a deuce, you're prairie dogging. So like, you split down, and it was, come to find out, that's where my dad dressed when he played college.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, I think I was in your locker room. I'm like on the phone talking to Dad and calling him because they went to the game. Like, oh, we're about to go. And I'm putting my pads back on. It's like 12:30. I was like, hey, we're starting again. Come back. So we're starting again. Got to go by. And they were like in London, about to go home. Yeah. And they turned around and came back. But then that, and then after that game, we played. Who do we play? We played Reinhardt, which is a top 15 ranked team. Mm-hmm. And it was a rainy game, and I end up hurting my knee. Like, I look like I got shot from the stands. I thought I tore everything in my knee. Yeah. And I'm like, well, crap, I'm done now. I've done all this work, and I keep going back to round 0. I was like, screw this. I'm done. I ain't going to do this again. Luckily, I did not have to have surgery. Mm-hmm. It was just a really bad hyperextension. Yeah. So I was very grateful for that. But then somehow we ended up winning that game. I come back out, so like this is really bad. So like I'm wallering on the ground. I'm like, oh my god! Like I'm on the ground for like at least 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty hard nosed, but like I'm like flopping around, grabbing my knee, rolling around, and I limp off the field. Doctors there, they evaluated me, put me in a brace, and I was like, I'm fine. I just overreacted. I got scared. I was really scared.
Yeah.
And so during that time, the next play, we were in like a deep I-9, and he mosses a kid, and it sucks because the defender ended up actually like breaking his leg. So like they had to bring out the air cast, they carted him off the field. This is enough time for me to get off the field, get evaluated, put me in a brace, take me up, and go back out there.
Yeah.
So I'll go back out there, and I'm like, what happened? Because I'm like in the shed. I don't know what's going on. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I feel good. I feel good. There's only one other kid that plays tight end, so there's 3 of us. We use both at the same time, and the other kid's a freshman or sophomore that's almost ready. He's not ready yet. And it sucks because he couldn't play this past year. He had a heart condition, and he couldn't play. And like he was going to start, and he was going to be a dude.
Yeah.
I feel so bad. But I was like, all right, I feel good. I feel good. 5 minutes passed by. I'm like, I might be able to play a quarter. And like they're still evaluating this guy, getting him in the ambulance. Like we're on the one about to go in. And like they changed the play call to like we're in a wildcat and we're going to go heavy personnel. Usually I'm the up back, then go. And I was like, all right, maybe I don't think I can last a quarter. Like I'm limping around at this point. It's cold. It's raining. I'm like, I looked at my position coach. I'm like, no, I ain't got a quarter in me. I was like, I got one play. That's probably about it. He's like, all right. And I looked at my buddy. I said, you better score right here because this is all I got. Like, this might be my last play. This is all. Get in. Mm-hmm. We ended up scoring. I do PAT. I'm like limping off the field. I'm like, all right, I'm done. Taking my helmet off. We ended up winning the game. Luckily, we had a bye week. I got evaluated. Like I said, nothing's wrong with me. And then I was ended up fine, and I wore the god-awfulest knee brace in the world. Like, our offensive lineman got, like, the wonderful, like...
The nice ones.
The nice ones.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I got one that has a pad on the knee and a pad on the thigh. Built into the brace.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you give this to me? And, like, I got made fun of. Like, in warm-ups...
Yeah.
All of the coaches were looking at me going, you look like a construction worker with them knee pads on your brace. Like, it was like a huge, like, y'all remember the gray knee pads that we had, the big ones?
Yeah.
Gosh.
That's what it was. It was Velcroed onto my brace. And I'm like, screw this. I grabbed it, ripped it off. By the time we get to our second stretch of warm-up, so nobody would make fun of me anymore. But I couldn't get rid of the one on my thigh. Because, like, it was, like, into the metal.
Yeah.
So I can find a picture. It was ugly. But like you could see it like through the pads of my pants. So see that right there?
Oh yeah.
That is into the brace.
Huh.
Gosh. It was ugly. But long story, get through that year, we survive. We ended up going like 6-5, which is okay. I was like, all right, I finally accomplished my goal of playing. I did what I wanted to do. I started. I played. I'm happy with myself. I was like, I did it. Mm-hmm. It's the goal that I had since I was like 15 years old. It's like, I did it. It sucked getting there, but I did it. I set my goal and I achieved it. And then exit interviews. I'll say this. On my exit interview, I looked at my head coach and we were talking about, I had nothing else to talk about besides fishing. Mm-hmm. And I kind of joked. And I said, last time I was in here, you tried to get me to quit. He goes, yep. Well, I'm glad you didn't. Well, thanks. I said it as a joke. He actually meant it, but it's all right. He ended up becoming better, like I said.
Yeah.
But I chose not to take my 5th year because, number one, I'm not running them 60-yard shuttles.
Yeah.
I had to run those every day. Screw that. And I got to graduate early, which was awesome. So I graduated in December of 23. I was going to start physical therapy school because that's what I was like, all right, that's my playing goal. My actual goal is to go into physical therapy school, like my educational goal, which I haven't really talked about a whole lot, but I went to go apply. The year that I was going to apply was going to be their first semester of the physical therapy school. It was going to be a new program, 2-year master's program. I'm like, heck yeah. I was like, I might be able to play my 5th year and do it. Most of it was online. I was like, heck yeah, I can do this. Turns out I missed the submission date.
Really?
Yeah, so I thought it worked as like, you know, it's kind of staggered. Like, you apply in the fall, you get in the spring, you apply in the spring, and you get in the fall semester. Yeah. No, you have 2 times to apply. It's in the spring and in the fall, and you all start in the spring. So you have 2 opportunities, but everybody starts in the spring.
Yeah.
So I would have had to wait. If I waited for that next round, I would have had to wait until January 2025, which was this year, to start.
Gosh.
And I graduated in December 2023. So I would have had like 18 months to do I don't know what.
Yeah.
Now, half of that's my fault because I got a degree in exercise and sports science, which means I'm a glorified towel folder and an athletic trainer getting paid like $4 an hour, which I was like, I'm not doing that for 18 months.
Yeah.
I worked at the dollar store in Williamsburg and in town. I was like, I ain't going to do that. So I graduate, I move out, or I move back, move out of college, come back. I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to do now? No idea what I'm going to do. So, Mark Centers reached out to Dad. He's like, hey, I have a special ed job open. I don't care. I just need somebody to be there. Like, I need a body. So, So, like, there's a thing called Option 4, which is, like, you don't have to get a certification. Like, you're just working to be there, like, paid. You don't have to, well, with special ed, you don't have to have a certain criteria of, like, oh, I have to take this, and this class. Kind of like not math or science or whatever. Like a field of study.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll do this. I'll do this for a couple months and figure out what I'm going to do. I started in January 24. Finished that school year out. And I was like, all right, what am I going to do? I have no idea what I'm going to do. About to graduate. About to propose to Mia at this time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, if I'm going to propose, I got to find some money. So I found that. Because I had no money. And the rings ain't expensive. Are expensive. And so I was like, oh, what am I going to do? It's like, I'm not going to wait this long to go to PT school.
Yeah.
18 months from now at that point. I was like, well, I might as well just do this. I always said I didn't want to be a teacher, but here I am. But like I said, I kind of mentioned it earlier. The best part, I think, I have a different experience with kids because, number one, I'm a little bit closer in their age, and I see a different part of them, especially now, like when I was in special ed and then with PE. Like, I don't have the same experiences like a regular teacher does. Like, I just I'm in a different environment, a different set of eyes and ears. And, like, I felt like I was making a difference to these kids. Mm-hmm. Even though we're sitting here reading Gothic literature at Garrett County. I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, but I was like, I'm making a difference. I think I found my calling into helping young men and women trying to develop into adults.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I think I could do this because I knew, like, in my heart, I'm like, I want to be a coach. Thought about being a GA. I was like, I'm not doing that. Screw that. Because they don't get paid anything. GAs get paid, like, by the laundry folded. By the penny. No, I'm joking. But they get... It would have been a very long time for me to get to where I wanted to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
It would have took a long time. And I didn't have that time. And I was so far away from everybody. I wanted to be back.
Yeah.
I was away from Mia for 4 years at this point. I'm like, okay, this is the woman I want to marry. I want to be around her. Like, I can't do long distance anymore because that was awful. We survived, but
I couldn't imagine doing it.
it was very bad.
I
Like,
traveled out of town for 3 months this year. Almost 3 months. And I thought it was going to kill me.
like, I couldn't tell you the amount of times, like, Zoom and FaceTime became my best friend.
Yeah.
Like, it was very difficult, and I'll praise Mia on this because the type of individual she is an amazing individual. She made it so much better. Because like I said, like, during the year, I didn't leave. From August to November, I didn't leave campus that much. So she would either come and hang out with me for a weekend. During the spring, I would go to Louisville, which was an awful drive. Golly. I'm glad she got to experience that. But man, I'm glad she moved to Eastern. I'm glad she wanted to go to Louisville. She was kind of like the same way I was. She's like, I want to get out.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And like I said, like, that's perfectly fine. You experience it. If you don't like it, that's fine. She did not like it, which is okay. And she moved back. But man, that cut down on my drive. Louisville was, oh boy. But I was like, all right, I think I found what I wanted to do. And then Mark and Mr. Anderson, which is the principal, they proposed for me to do the track job.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know nothing about track. They tried to give me the track job when I was interviewing for the special ed job in January. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, I ain't doing track. So, like, I was just, doing that. And I think I called Dad one day on the way back home, like, hey, I think I want to do this. I don't think I want to go to PT school. I think I want to do this. Like, I feel like I have a little bit of a purpose during this.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. Started doing graduate level classes, do all that, do my option 6. And I was like, okay. School year ends, track year ends. Had some success with that. Love my kids at Garrett County. They're talking to me like that first central meet. Like, all the kids that I didn't have were out there stretching, and all the kids I had the year before was like talking to me the whole time for like 20 minutes. And they're like, can you please come back? I'm like, I can't, guys. But I ended up coming back to Irvin, which at the beginning I was like, I don't want to come back. But I feel like now, just from maturing, I'm glad that I did. Because this place, even though I grew up here and I'm like, oh, I don't want to come back. This place is special. It's also weird.
Love, hate.
It is. But, like, it's like the environment's much different. Like, especially I'm talking like a teaching kind of standpoint. Like, teachers actually care. Like, I've been around some, like, other school systems where, like, teachers don't care. Like, they're like, go roll in the dirt. I really don't care about you. Like,
Yeah.
and, like, that's what hurt me the most as, like, a teacher. I was like, why would you not care?
Yeah.
Now, sometimes, like, there's kids, I'm like, but, like, I will always help out these kids. Like, there are some kids that some kids that teachers hate, but they love me. which I feel like I said, I'm a little bit younger. I talk to them like adults. I'm like, listen, I will treat you all like adults if you treat me like one.
Yeah.
And like I've had some great conversations with students about life, school, decisions, all that stuff. And I'm like, I think I could do this and make an impact and change somebody's life. Slightly impact somebody's life. That's the way it should be worded. Not change. Change is a bad word. Slightly impact somebody's life. So that's where I'm at in my life. I've talked about for a good hour and 45 minutes of football to.
We've been everywhere. You've done a lot of persevering. That's for sure. We talk about that a lot.
Yeah, it's something. It is absolutely something.
I can't imagine going. Well, one, I know how hard school can be. Then going and I also know how hard football can be, and just combining them at a collegiate level for 4 years plus dealing with injuries and long distance relationships and all that. And it's just.
Hey, I was an academic weapon, man. Hey, I graduated with a 3.8.
Hey.
If I didn't get a C for my bird watching class, I would have been fine.
You know,
Summa cum laude.
I don't even know.
Magna cum laude. I think I had a 3.8 too.
I don't even know. It's something.
As well, 3.8 as well. Not 3.82, 3.8 as well. But
oh God.
I thought it was neat. He was talking about graduate school and applying for PT school and stuff. It reminded me. I got offered that job as a graduate assistant and accepted the job as a graduate assistant before I got accepted into grad school.
Are you serious?
Yes. Because I didn't turn in the right paper. So I was trying to schedule for my classes. I'm like, hey, this is not working. I'm emailing people and they're like, well, it should. I'm like, it's not.
It's not.
So,
they don't help you one bit, do they?
no. So I finally realized, like, oh, my graduate school application has not been submitted and approved yet. So I went and turned that paper in, and she's like, and I told my advisor, she's like, yeah, I'll accept it now. And so I was able to register for classes from 6 a.m. Not 6 a.m., 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday.
That's rough, brother. That's rough.
We've got some scripture to help you out here.
I know.
That's rough.
So we've got,
oh my gosh.
We've got Isaiah 43:2. Isaiah 43:2 says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze.
That's cool.
We talk a lot about suffering and how suffering gives you perseverance. And it's really important to remember that the only way you can get through your suffering is with God.
Yeah.
He'll keep you. You can go through the fire and they won't set you ablaze. Mm-hmm. You can go through the rivers. You can cross the rivers. They won't sweep over you.
Yep.
God's always got you.
It's cool. Yeah. So, let me look over that. Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice verse. Where did you find that?
It just popped up on TikTok.
Yeah.
And it
Very
hit,
fitting.
man.
It's very fitting, though.
Yeah, that's how most stuff happens. But.
No ChatGPT.
No.
I got pressed yesterday. I was making my vows, and she goes, "Did you use ChatGPT?" I was like, "No." I said, "Did I use it as an outline for like what I should do?" Because I ain't never been to a wedding. I don't know what I'm doing.
Just go with the flow, man.
Yeah.
I was
gonna ask you got any advice being a married individual?
On being married or getting married?
Both. And give me something because I got a week.
So, if I had to guess, Mia's probably different than Raina. Raina did not care. Like, it's like, what kind of cake? I don't know. What kind of catering? I don't know. What kind of flowers? I don't know. We'll go look at them. I felt so in the dark. It's like nothing happened until the last week before the wedding. So just do your best to remember why you're going through all the stress of a wedding, because it's hard to remember. Sometimes you got to run to Walmart and buy like 8 belts, and you just do it. And being married, it's the most important job that I have. Being a husband now, it's weird that I've said that.
I know it.
But I love it. I mean, married life hasn't really changed much for me. Me and Aaron have lived here for over a year. So we've kind of got a rhythm.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm so excited.
It'll be good.
Like,
I'm happy for you.
I've dated her for so long. Like, I finally proposed last summer, and everybody's like, finally.
Yeah.
Like, I know, but I finally got money. That was an experience of proposing. I don't think I've ever said this one out loud, but I will, because it's just a funny story. I proposed to her in St. Augustine. Like, she knew it was happening.
Yeah.
Like, she's just trying to be nice and let me do it.
Yeah.
So, have you all ever been to St. Augustine?
I haven't.
A sidebar. That's where the Fountain of Youth is at. Fountain of Youth sucks. Like, when you think of the Fountain of Youth, what do you think of?
Something like kind of
A
magical.
big,
Yeah,
elaborate gold fountain. No, it's a piece of pipe barely trickling out water, and it tastes like crap. Like, it's like this high off the ground, stone. It's got a piece of pipe,
Yeah.
a copper pipe that comes out. The water tastes like butt. It's awful. And like they'll let you try it, but it sucks. But doing that, I ended up proposing like right there in the front, and we hired a photographer to do this. And so they're like, do it in front of the cannon. There's 2 cannons, so I just picked one. And so I'm like crying at this point. I'm proposing, like saying like I want to be with you for the rest of my life. Proposing, and then the photographer comes out of the bushes. She goes, "No, wrong cannon! Stop! Stop! Stop!" And I'm like,
Stop? What do you mean stop?
I was like,
Take the picture.
I was like, no.
You can't tell me to stop.
I was like, no. And I was like, it's okay. She still got some pictures, and then we redid them, like in front of like
The
a
rock
more.
cannon.
No, it was like in a more elegant spot, and then we ended up taking more pictures. And like we just kind of laugh about it.
That's
And
a
I'm
good
like,
story though.
it
You'll always have that.
like I'll be like, yeah, I proposed to that cannon,
Yeah.
but that's something about that. It's just like some of that stuff I just can't make up. I need to write a book one day. I just can't.
So you get married Saturday.
Yeah, buddy.
That'll be a fun time.
Congratulations.
That's awesome. That's
It's
awesome.
gonna be
Happy for you guys.
something.
So it's you wrote this down here. Is it Men's Mental Health Awareness Month?
It is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
So
It's kind of a mouthful to say.
I think that's important.
Check on your boys.
Check on your boys. Love one another, because you never know what people's going through in their own head. So it's
That's right.
Yeah.
it's a spooky thing. Always make sure to check up on them. So just say that. What else we got?
I
Anything?
don't think I'm good. I'm floating again. So.
Micah, you got any final remarks?
Closing remarks?
I don't know, not really. I'm kind of like Jake. I gotta go pee.
All right.
Well, so we appreciate Micah for being here with us.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you
thanks,
all.
man.
I've been
been
looking
good.
forward to this for like 3 months.
You killed it, dude.
Longest podcast.
Yeah.
That's a record.
Yeah, you killed
That's
it.
awesome. You did really well with it. Just storytelling and just sharing your experiences. We appreciate it. Let's see. I guess we can pray, then play the song, get on out of here.
Yeah, man.
So, I was going to say one more thing. I don't know. Slipped my
boy.
mind.
Oh boy.
Slipped my mind. All right. Well, anyways, we'll pray, then we can get out. You want to split it up again?
I'm good today.
Okay.
I got to pee too bad.
Okay, I'll just go there. All
Got
right,
it.
let's pray. Dear God, thank you for letting us sit down here and just get together. Thank you for Micah for joining us today and just sharing his experiences. And I think we had some good stories to be told, and hopefully people can draw from this. We just thank you for this podcast, for letting it reach people, and we love you, God. We just thank you for all the blessings you've given us, and all the great things that you've blessed in our life. We love you, God. We thank you for Jesus and that sacrifice that you given to us. We love you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Oh boy.
This is what I was gonna say to Micah. He's been a great mentor to the
Yeah.
to the kids of Estill County
Oh,
and
that's
Garrett
scary.
County.
You were a good mentor for us too.
Yeah.
You were.
That's scary. That's absolutely scary.
You were one of the better upperclassmen we had playing football.
Definitely.
I tried.
Definitely.
I tried.
So,
Hard to block though. You're always so sweaty.
I can't help it. I can't help it.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to us. We love you.
Jesus loves you. Be good to your brother.
Later.